Allison?
Thanks. All right, so my best tip ultimately is don't wait until you're perfect to start. And I want to elaborate on that. Today, I sit here in front of y'all as a Sapphire Queen. That is $7 million in group sales. She was my very first downline that I ever signed up, and I was 10 days into this business. And we had absolutely no idea what we were doing. We both learned together, and she broke off that first year. And today, I achieved 7 million, and she achieved her team achieved 6 million. And we did it separately, completely on our own this year. And we did not wait to start. We did not wait to be perfect. This can happen. You can find your dream person. Just don't wait until the time is right. You can make the time right.
I have to ask you, like, what do you think about this question? And you'd say, I don't know, but we're going to find out together.
Yeah.
So you can do that.
There's no perfect time to start. Either you want this or you don't. You have to just take the little baby steps that are going to get you there. My best tip, 100%, is don't wait to be perfect. Start taking those baby steps now and get moving. You are able to sponsor even as a brand new distributor.
Wow, that's awesome. How about you, Kelsey?
I'm gonna stand up because I feel like I'm gonna shake out of my chair. So I'm just gonna calm down for a second. My biggest tip for sponsoring is, well, I have two. Do not be afraid of the no. Don't you dare make the decision for somebody else that they don't have the money, they don't have the time. You let them tell you no, because you have no idea how much this business can change their life. You are not able to take that choice away from them. Give them the opportunity to have that joy that you get from Senages. So that was my number one tip is don't make the choice for them, let them make the choice.
Gosh, I'm living proof, you guys. The person that invited me to my first network marketing meeting, I was coming off the streets. I had no money and no education. Had they gone ahead and made a decision for me, I wouldn't have the life that I get to live today, and it's a really good life. I love that tip, and obviously it certainly resonates for me as well.
Yeah, and then my other tip for sponsoring is to set up realistic expectations. Find out how much time that they can put into the business. Find out how much money they can invest in the business. Find out what they're willing to do, and make sure that they know that they can't just sign up and then all of a sudden their husband gets to quit their job. It's gonna take work, it's gonna take time, and they need realistic expectations, and help them calculate that out. Find out how much they wanna make, calculate that out and say, okay, you wanna make this much, it absolutely can happen, this is what you gotta do to get there. So setting up realistic expectations is huge for sponsoring success and making them be their best self.
Nice. Thank you so much. Lacey.
All right, so my biggest tip with sponsoring, when I was sponsored into this business, my upline, Callie, she taught me all about the business and how amazing it was. She told me about Joni and how she genuinely cared about each and every distributor. She told me about the corporate team that all followed in that same path and created an amazing culture for our company, and that we were like a diamond in the rough amongst these other MLM companies. And so I look at sponsoring not as recruitment or not as selling, but I look at sponsoring as sharing, and I really truly think that if you share with everybody all about the amazing things that our company has to offer, that there can't be a no. I mean, who wouldn't want to be here with us today? So that's my best tip.
I love it. Lauren?
Okay, so I'm all about practical tips, and so for me from the beginning, something practical that any one of you guys could do is sharing your successes on your public personal page. And that could be anything from, oh my goodness, I got a new downline on my team this week. Or our group sales volume went to 20,000. This is amazing. There's nothing wrong with sharing a hashtag humble brag about your business if you do it in a humble way. I believe that. So then, as my team started to grow, I would start sharing my team's successes. Oh my goodness, Ashley joined, or she welcomed 5 girls to our team this week. This is amazing. Whitney's GSV is 600,000. And so people that are in the shadows can kind of watch that happen, and it piques their curiosity a little bit, like, I wonder what she's doing. I might want to get in on that. So that's something that I did from the very beginning, and I attribute a lot of my early sponsoring to that.
That is amazing. We talked a little bit about this yesterday, and a lot of people get afraid to share their successes because they think that they come across as bragging. And I'm begging you, don't dim your light because somebody else might feel uncomfortable with that. Turn the volume up on that. It's time we started celebrating people's successes and letting go of ourselves being uncomfortable because they want to tell us how awesome life is. You know, people it blows the mind, right? That I have to dim my light so you can be comfortable. Now, I know nobody in this room is trying to do that, correct? All right. You know, in order to have sponsoring success, it's critical that you stay motivated, and oftentimes it's personally motivated because everyone loses motivation and gets distracted from time to time, right? We're human. I get it, right? But what I'm interested in is how you guys think differently so that you can stay motivated. Well, some of us can barely pick up the phone to call the next prospect. And Lauren, do you mind answering that question for us?
Okay, so a big motivator for me, I think ever since I learned about the analogy where your business is like a bucket with holes in the bottom. You are constantly going to have people spilling out the bottom. You're always going to have downlines go inactive. We just have to come to grips with that. That's going to be reality. But if I'm such a visual learner, and if I can visually see myself pouring into other people and sharing the opportunity with more people and having more people join my team, that fallout is not going to be as big of an issue for me. So that is a big motivator for me, and I also love the phrase, your team is going to work half as hard as you do. So if I have a down day or an off day, I think, okay, if I was watching my team today doing this, would I also see their business grow? And a lot of times it's no, and so I have to get my butt in gear and get to work. And so that's one of my big motivators, that visual of the bucket.
It's true, right? Your team, they do what you do, not what you say. And I know I say that over and over and over again, but if you're wondering why your team's not doing the do, and you're trying to get them, for example, to get out there and wow, how often are you showing them wowing? How often are you holding them by the hand and taking them to wow? You can't expect them to do it while you're getting your nails done. You know what I mean? Eventually you can, because you'll grow them into leaders. But if you're not doing the do, neither will they. Another great analogy when you think about the fact, and it needs to sink in, they will never do more than about 50% of what you're doing, or kind of the 80-20 rule, right? Maybe 20% of them might, but 80% of them aren't gonna. So you gotta turn up the volume on what you're willing to do. Allison, same question. Talk to me about your motivation, sweetheart.
So I'm a lot different than I feel other people, the way other people are motivated. I am a numbers and competition girl, and I am not motivated to compete with someone to bring them down in any way. I'm motivated to compete with them to prove to myself that I can do that too, or I can do a step above whatever they did, or I can accomplish whatever they're doing. I deserve it too. I can work that hard too. So in the beginning, she was actually my biggest motivation, and she was my downline. I entered it not having any idea what this business was about what I was going to do. I just thought, I'd already lightly dabbled in a few other network marketing companies that I didn't really do anything with, and I just figured this was kind of going to be the same thing. And I see her blooming earlier than I did, and she's sponsoring people, and she's enjoying it, and I'm like, I can do that too. So I put myself in competition with her, and I started sponsoring people, and I started taking the business seriously. And every day, your motivation, your goals, what you're trying to achieve is going to change. So your motivation for that day is going to change too. Back then, we had incentives this is like a year and a half ago, to sponsor. Whoever sponsored the most that month out of whatever division we were in was going to get a bag. And I was like, so cool. I could earn that. And I think you earned one. And I was like, I want to earn it too. So I tried to keep up with her, and I kept that fire going. I was sponsoring 5, 6, 7, sometimes 10 people a month. And I never thought that I could be doing something like that. I didn't think I was brave enough, social enough, special, or whatever it is that it takes to be that kind of a person that can sponsor people. I didn't think I had that, and it just kept going and going and going. And I sit here today with different goals and different motivations than what I had when I first signed up. So what Kelsey said earlier, it's about realistic expectations too. My goals and my expectations for myself back then are much different than what I have now. The goals and motivation, you have to be realistic with it. I'm not going to wake up saying that I'm going to be number one in the company. That's not realistic for me. I can wake up and say, I want to sponsor someone today. And if I keep that same attitude every single day, every single week, then eventually there is a chance that I could become even more in a better position, a higher rank than what I am today if I just keep those little baby steps going. So that's my motivation.
That's awesome, honey. You know, in order to, I mean, it's one thing to stay motivated, right? And it's really important to achieve the things that you have, but it doesn't happen by chance, right? There are really specific daily habits and daily routines that each of you I know go through. And you don't stop, and leaders know that. Joni often says, you've got to be willing to repeat the boring things day in and day out and not quit before the miracle happens if you want to be successful at Senegence. And it's the truth for each of you. You know, the leaders that were chosen for this particular panel are doing what works to sponsor and have success. But what I want to know from you, Lacey, is what do you specifically do? What are your daily routines? As an example, how many people do you approach daily?
Well, my goal each day is to wow at least 3 to 4, a minimum of 3 to 4 people.
3 to 4 people per day.
Per day.
Boy, that just taught me that that's possible. What are you guys doing? You know what? You blew me away yesterday when you told me that, because that is why she's a leader. Make no mistake about it. You will never make a full-time income from a less than part-time effort. You guys understand that, right? Input equals output. Tell me what you do to accomplish that.
Well, I mean, each day it's just, you know, you're going about your day. You've got to find ways to connect with people.
Do you have some tips for these guys?
Oh gosh, I'm pretty good at wowing you guys. I make it a goal. I mean, when I walk through the airport, I'm literally looking for people that are what I would want in a teammate, what I would like, someone I would like to be friends with. I kind of like, I'll tell them I like their shoes, or I'll try and strike up a conversation with them and get to know them a little bit. I got pretty lucky on my flight because that girl sat next to me.
Nice. Wow, that sounds like networking. You guys do realize that we're in a network marketing company, right? You will have to network with people. I love that. Thank you so much. Kelsey, what are your daily routines? Why don't you share with everybody?
Okay, so are any of you guys the type where you don't like schedules? You like to just do whatever you want to do? Raise your hand. Guys, that's me. Here's the thing, we have 2 different brains. She plans everything, I don't. So what my daily routine is being consistent.
Nice.
You can be consistent without planning, but you have to show up and do the work. Do all the things. Every single thing that you should be doing is a money-producing activity. You should always be thinking towards your goal. You should always be thinking towards where you want to be, and always keep that why in the back of your mind, because if you do things with your heart, I truly believe that with everything inside of me, and Joni's such an incredible example of this. If you put your heart in it, in every single thing that you do, in talking to your customers, in making sure that they feel loved, and making sure that they feel validated, right? I'm an S personality, can you tell? Then they are going to be more loyal to you because you genuinely care about them as a person. When you are setting up your day, making sure that you are following up and checking up on people, I had to start setting alarms for when to eat. That's how unscheduled I am. So if you're like me, set alarms in your phone and say, okay, right now I need to stop doing this and I need to go and package orders. I need to stop doing this and I need to follow up with my first line. Make sure that you have what you need to get done. The time doesn't matter as long as you do it. Just make sure that you are doing every single thing that you know. I know each and every one of you knows what to do. We just need to do it.
I love that. And you've got that new daily planner
Yeah,
that you
we
can
do.
use to start setting alarms and scheduling time. And, you know, the thing is that what she says is key, and I hope you hear this part. If you keep thinking about it, it's never going to get done. You've actually got to do it, right? And sometimes the only way to get it done is to actually schedule it. When I was in the field, I would schedule everything from how many actual calls I was going to make to how many people I would reach as a result of those calls, to how many of those would be follow-up calls, to how many invitation conversations I was going to have. And I would set those goals daily, which turned into some weekly successes, some monthly successes, but I had to. And then the real valuable thing for me, because I don't like schedules, I like to just wing it and nail it. And I will tell you, what happened is my self-esteem began to increase because I was accomplishing these scheduled goals. So call 10 people, speak to 3 people. I felt like a rock star when I finished that, right? And every day as I began to continue to accomplish them, it turned the volume up on my confidence, right? I was able to get out there and wow people. We called it prospecting, but I actually love the term wow much better. But I was able to get out there because I was having conversation, I was getting practice, but it would never have happened if I hadn't actually scheduled it. Because I was convinced that everything was going to be like magic. I was going to join this business, I was going to obviously have success, although I didn't know, right? And when that didn't happen, thank goodness I was teachable and I was coachable, and somebody said you got to schedule in the activities, and I went ahead and did it. I'm forever grateful. So, you know, sometimes guys, sponsoring success comes because you've learned how to brand yourself. You've actually got a personal brand, right? The truth is, we have the most amazing company in direct selling, frankly, any company, right? We've got the most incredible products, am I right or am I right? Right? But, and you would hope that everybody would join just because of that. But the reality is people want to join you. And so if you're looking for sponsoring success, top recruiters understand that branding yourself in a manner that has people seek you out, want to be friends with you, kind of like you were saying, Lacey, right? And especially on social media, when you're authentic and you understand your brand, right? Your success rate in sponsoring is going to increase exponentially. And you know, Kelsey, why don't you talk a little bit about that? I know we just did because you are an expert at this.
So honestly, branding is so incredibly important. But the most important part about your brand is being true to yourself. Don't try and be somebody else. Don't try and be this professional makeup artist if that's not you, if that's not your brand. Don't try to be all happy and hyper if that's not you. If you are true to yourself, people are going to they're going to be able to see it. They're going to know that you're being genuine and yourself. So when everybody jumps on your live video, they're like, oh my gosh, she's so adorable, that's her. There's always going to be people that are attracted to your personality, and we can all tell if it's genuine. So with your branding, make sure you're being true to yourself, and don't be afraid. Don't dim your light. Don't say, well, you know, I'm a little bit loud, and it's kind of annoying to some people, so I'm going to dim it down. Don't. You be true to yourself. I think at the beginning that was my biggest struggle, is I didn't think I was good enough. So instead of being me, I was going to be somebody else. I was going to change what I was doing. I was going to, you know, make myself be what I thought that I needed to be successful. And that is just not true. You are good enough exactly who you are now. and who you will become, and your personality traits make you so unique that people are going to join your team and want to be under you and buy from you because they love you. And you are your brand, right?
Yeah, you know, and it's so important, and they join you for that, and they stay with you for that. The community that you design, right? The community, the person that you become. Is there anybody else that would like to answer that question? You want to go ahead, Lauren?
Okay, a way that I've learned to brand myself is, well, it's more than just marketing materials. FYI, hashtag House of Hustle, Andrea Palmer. Just did all of my branding for my marketing materials, and she's fabulous. But it's more than just what you put in your package. It is something that I've learned is showing the behind the scenes and allowing people into your life to see that they can work the business from anywhere. So I don't hop on, like, I look up like this, you know, and with all my self done. Like, I do 80% pretty much like my mom's self in my bun. And I will show, hey guys, I'm doing a virtual launch party for my new downline in my car at the movie parking lot. I'm at the ball field packaging orders in the car. Like, I show people the behind the scenes stuff and allow them to see, you know, I could do that if she can do that. She's making it work for her. And so I also always want to bring up that I did work a full-time job, and I was able to hustle the business and make it work for me and my schedule as a teacher with 3 kids. We also own a franchise. Do any of you guys ever heard of Kona Ice? We have a Kona Ice franchise too. So we wear many hats, and we just made it work in our schedule. And so I think more than anything, just showing people that it's doable for their lifestyle, and not just showing how you know, the pretty stuff, showing them the behind the scenes and the real life stuff.
I love that. You know, and I will tell you, and these girls have talked to me a little bit about this, you need to understand, to have sponsoring success, that you need to actually prioritize each and every day personal development. Without it, you will, I mean, there's going to be pitfalls, right? You're going to be faced with rejection. You're going to get the no that you said not to be afraid of, but you're going to be afraid of it. And the reality is, you need to be working on personal development as a scheduled task each and every day. And so, you know, I know, Kelsey, you do a lot in that area. Do you mind talking to us about what personal development you do, and maybe Allison can help us out too?
I honestly think with personal development, you guys, it is huge. I would almost dare say that it's probably 90% of your business is your self-development. The girl that you see sitting here today is not at all, not even close to the girl that was sitting there a couple years ago, a year ago, last seminar. There has to be growth. You have to be teachable, you have to be coachable, and you have to be willing to change. Because if you think that you are going to be perfect just being you and not changing and growing, you're not true, you're not right. Because you have to be willing to learn and to continue to grow. It really blew me away. I remember last year, I was talking to Tony Alexander, one of my uplines, and I was like, hey, so like, which one are you gonna go to? Like, I'm sure you've heard this a million times. And she goes, no, every single time I go to a training, I learn something new. And I feel that exact same way. You could hear the exact same thing over and over, and something else is gonna resonate with you every single time. So what I do with personal development, it's a skill that I've done at a young age. I get really overwhelmed thinking of all the things that I need to change about myself, because who doesn't, right? We all think that everything needs to be changed about ourselves. So what I started doing is once a week, I would pick 3 to 5 things that I wanted to work on for the week. Does that mean I'm gonna be perfect at them at the end of the week? No, but I'm solely focused on that. So I will go at the beginning of the week. I will be constantly reading some sort of motivational book. If you guys have not read Think and Grow Rich, have you guys read that? Raise your hand if you
Joni recommends it in her book, $1 Million Lives.
Yeah.
Think and Grow Rich is life-changing.
Have you read Joni's book? If you haven't, I implore you to go home and read it. It is literally, the first couple chapters, I just bawled. Sitting in there, just bawling. It is so inspirational, and it really makes you truly appreciate who she is. one of my other favorite books is, yes, The Morning Miracle. Right? Miracle Morning. Can I get a review on that book? Seriously, the most amazing. And it was really bad for me, right? Because I hate schedules. I got finished with the book and I'm like, honey, I'm gonna wake up 2 hours earlier. And he's like, no, you're not. But I am getting up earlier, so hey, it did do something. 5 minutes earlier, 7 o'clock every single day.
The morning miracle, 5 minutes earlier. I love it.
Yeah, the book it said to get up at like 5 or 6. I'll settle for, I'm not even gonna say the time. So, the biggest thing is making sure that you are working on yourself. Write down some things on the mirror. I want to work on my sponsoring. I want to work on my confidence. I want to work on my elevator speech. And you work on that until you feel comfortable doing it. If I feel uncomfortable doing it, I'm going to keep doing it until I feel comfortable. I don't feel comfortable sitting in front of you, so guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to get up here as many times as I possibly can till I do feel comfortable. And I think that was incredible when you pulled her on up first, because she was like, don't call me first. I'll teach you if you're uncomfortable. I'm going to do it again and again. So it's your daily routines, your motivation. If you are not comfortable doing something, keep doing it until you are.
Right on it. It takes practice. And you know, I love that you recommended some books because leaders are readers. And if you haven't heard that, you should be writing that down. Leaders are readers. If you want to get good and get better, start finding a book list of somebody that inspires you. Ask them what they're reading, and I guarantee something they recommend will change your life, whether it's incrementally or astronomically. Leaders are readers. And I'm going to just quickly recommend a book because Allison and I were just hanging out in Vegas with a few people. And but I'm going to recommend this book because he's brilliantly written it and it applies to every single company I've been with. It's called Go Pro, and it's by Eric Worre. And I'll tell you, he gives you things to say, things to do. It will assist you. The whole concept is how to become a professional network marketer. And if you're about to make that decision, and I'm assuming that if you invested in seminar, you are, then you need to be taught. And I believe that's one of the manuals, along with Joni's book, which also at the end of each chapter, it gives you a motivational activity to complete that will kick everything up a notch. And so, Allison, I know you work on this. I know you are because from the time I met you, which was just about a year ago now, you have grown significantly. Why don't you tell them how you do it?
So I want to contradict you a little bit, not to say that you're wrong, but to say that I still have a lot of room to grow. I'm not a book reader. I don't read books, but I have a desire and I want to read books, and I know that they would be good for me. Right now, I am motivated and inspired by audio, and I'm a little unconventional in the way that I do self-development. I am known from my team. It's hard to believe because a lot of people think that I'm very stazzy and crazy, which I am, but my team knows me as the robot. I don't allow myself to have feelings for some reason. I'm not sure where that came from, but I don't allow myself to be emotional, and I don't know why. It's something that I need to work through. But my self-development actually comes from me talking to my teammates or me talking to other leaders. And I'm very perceptive whenever someone's like pulling back a little, or I see that they're having an issue, or that they could just do one more little thing and they could be soaring to the next level. So I actually talk to them through their problems and through their issues, and through that I'm realizing how I feel and what I can be working on while I'm talking to them. So I set up appointments or have random phone calls with people not even on my team to talk to them about their goals, their problems, their issues, their whatever they're doing that day. And in that time, I'm learning about myself as well. So that's a lot of my personal development.
I love that. You know, before we wrap this panel up, because we've got a 45-minute and then a room switch, I think everybody would like to hear from you, you know, some final words of wisdom. This is about sponsoring success, and we've talked about wowing, we've talked about personal development, we've talked about the need to constantly motivate yourself and take advantage of knowledge that's out there and branding yourself. But what about some final words of wisdom for these guys? If you were, why don't you go ahead and share it, Lacey?
I just think that we have all the tools that we need right in front of us to be successful. It is a choice to be successful. You have to commit and stay motivated, but you have to take small steps every single day in the right direction. And if you're not, then you're gonna fall back. But when you do, you need to reach out to someone that motivates you and find out how you can get out of that negative downfall.
Yeah, that's right. I guess realizing too, it's not always gonna be rainbows and butterflies, right? But consistently taking those baby steps in the right direction. Some of you take lunges, but it's okay to take baby steps in the right direction. How many of you are committed to start taking steps in the right direction consistently coming out of seminar? Nice. She knows what she's talking about. Lauren, do you want to give some final words of wisdom?
Okay, I would say do not be afraid to sponsor because you might be a leader. A lot of people in this business are afraid to sponsor because they're like, I just don't know how to lead. I just don't know how to talk to people, and I'm too shy. Nobody's gonna look up to me. I could never be up there on that stage. It is amazing the way that a lot of us grow. I mean, in network marketing, you grow, whether you like it or not. And don't be afraid to lead. And I think a lot of people think there's a stigma, like if you are a leader, you have to do this kind of stuff and speak in front of thousands of people. You can grow into that. It comes with it. But goodness, there's such a cool thing about being a leader on a small scale and growing a team of people who really appreciate and admire you, and friendships through my team has been one of the biggest takeaways for me. All money aside, everything else aside, that is like my crown jewel, truly.
I love it. You guys, it's a fundamental fact that when you grow, your business grows. So take that to mind. Kelsey, you've got some final words?
So, my biggest thing is don't compare your success to somebody else's. There's always going to be someone who's looking up to you, and there's always going to be people that you are looking up to. That's just how it works. So don't feel like your success isn't a big deal just because maybe you didn't get the rank that you wanted to, or maybe you didn't sponsor the number you wanted to, or maybe you didn't hit the court that you wanted to. Make changes and do those next time. But don't compare yourself to somebody else's, because everybody's light shines at different times, and that's okay. We don't have to do it at the same speed. We don't have to do it at the same time. We can do it in our own time. When it's right for us, it will happen. We just have to stay the course.
Thank you. Allison, do you have some final words?
I do. I want to let everyone know that if someone tells you no, it does not mean you failed. If someone tells you no, it should not defeat you for the rest of the day or the week or the month or the year. I was a no for 6 months. You were a no for how long? You were a hard no?
I'm still a hard no.
I was a no for 6 months. I'm very interested in the language that we use to talk to the people that we're potentially sponsoring. I'm very interested in how we communicate with them. And one thing that I wanted to touch on earlier, and I didn't get a chance to, was how you develop your language throughout this journey, throughout this business, and how you can present the opportunity to someone 6 different times, and it might take that 6th time for them to say yes and for them to see the light. We've got a ton of new corporate people on this team that are trying to teach you how to communicate better and how to show people that they can be a part of this too. So anytime any corporate is on a webinar or in town, I highly suggest, like Jamie Sivanon has blown my mind probably 5 times already in the few times that I've talked to her, and she is just blowing me away with how we can present this opportunity in so many different ways that I haven't even thought about yet. So a no is not actually a no. Keep trying. Don't be defeated.
The fortune's in the follow-up. They actually say it takes an average person 22 times of being asked before they say yes if they started out as a no. So can you imagine if you always give up after the first no or the third no? Believe it or not, I'm living proof. Chris literally offered me and came after me 3 times, and I said, nope, nope, nope. And then thank God, he followed up with me, and I get to live with all of you here at Senegence. Well, I think this has been a great panel. I'm really excited.